what you really have gotten known for the last couple years, and now, like you said, Netflix is coming out with your season of Alone. Is you were the winner of season 8 of Alone um, on Chilco Island, and I want to talk to you about that a little bit. I also want to talk to you a little bit about bow building too, just because I know that's probably your first passion. Um, but so I don't really want to talk about like the process of applying for a loan, not a loan, a loan. Um, but I want to talk about more of like the process between, hey, I'm going to be on a loan and then getting dropped off at a loan. Like, how did you get prepared for trying to stay someplace for as long as you could?
Well, when I first got in contact with the casting folks, it was probably late March, early April of 2020. I can't remember exactly what the timeline is, but I figured there was a pretty good chance that I would get on the show, and so I basically treated it like it was my job to prepare for that show. And luckily, I was in a position where I could do that. Content creation is what I do, and so if nobody knew what was going on because I couldn't tell anybody. But if you look back at my YouTube channel, I mean, I was doing more like survival type stuff at that time, building shelters
Yeah,
and
I'm
traps
I'm on
and
your
stuff like that.
I'm on your Patreon, and I remember getting the message about like, hey, I'm going
Oh
to be
yeah.
on an extended trip for. We don't know when I'm coming back, so if you try to get a hold of me, I'm not here. So
Yeah.
that was funny. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
So, for those couple of months, I basically couldn't think of anything. Like I don't know what it is about my personality or my mind or whatever, but when I get keyed in on something like that, I just can't, like, that's what I do. I can't, I don't look outward. I just look at that thing. And so, um, I knew that I needed to gain weight, which I've never been able to gain weight in my life. Like, I'm 155 pounds right now, and I've probably graduated high school at 150 pounds. And so I knew that just probably wasn't going to cut it out there because you need some buffer. I don't care how damn good you are in the woods. You need a buffer out there because you're going to have some slim times of putting food on the table. And so, God bless her, my wife, Liz, I couldn't have done it without her, but I was able to gain 20 pounds. And I started about 160 and went in there at 180. And she fed me loaded baked potatoes. And I mean, I was so full, like for those from, let's say early April until we launched on September 18th. I was never not uncomfortably full. I mean, just like stuffed, eating 3 huge meals a day. And that's what it took. And that and drinking weight gainer shakes. So I gained a little bit of weight, as much as I could. And then I started practicing things like making gill nets, friction. I bet I made 1,000 friction fires during those couple of months. Um, I made a fishing rod that I could cast and reel using only the things that I would have out there. So I spent a lot of time preparing because I knew it was very likely going to be the most difficult thing I'd ever attempted in my life.
Yeah, that fishing rod's sweet. You got a video on your channel about how you made it.
Yeah.
It's
Did
pretty
you have
cool.
an idea of what area you were going to be going to, or did they tell you when you left?
We didn't. They were very hush hush about even like what region we were going to. I think it was probably late July before they even would give us like a biotype. Like, I think the description they gave us was something along the lines of, you're going to be at a lake around so and so elevation with this forest type, and that's about it. And so there was no like scouting. You couldn't pull this area up on maps and like pre-scout the area or anything like that.
I was more thinking about like studying edibles and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. You could do that to a very limited extent. And even once we got out there, on the lake. We went, there's like a 10-day orientation period before they put you out in the woods. And we walked around with one of the local experts that knew the plants and just kind of looked at different things. But there's such a huge difference in the habitats from the north side of that lake to the south side, and you didn't have any idea where you were going to be. And even east to west, there's a big difference in the moisture gradient. And so that has a big impact on what vegetation grows there. And so you could study something up at the north side of that lake and get dropped off in a completely different habitat type down at the south side, and you got no control over that.
You know, when I was watching the show, the guy that was second place, I was looking at him and thinking, man, that would be my ploy, as I'd go there and gain weight. And I was thinking about you, and I was thinking, why didn't he gain a bunch of weight? You know, and I just was on your site just before we did this, and I watched your review of the episode 1 and 2, and you talking about weight gain, and I watched you going through trying to gain weight, and I was laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
I drive by a McDonald's and I gained 10
I was gonna
pounds.
say I could gain 20 pounds like by the end of the weekend, dude. Like that's how I am.
It was amazing. But,
well, I tell you, I'm very thankful for the body type I have, because I can eat anything I want and not gain any weight. But man, I tell you, in a survival situation, that is not an advantage.